This is where normally we would play the theme. Well, Barry always insists on playing the theme from his phone.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're going to dub it in post.
It makes, like, no difference.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
It sets the tone.
Yeah, it sets the tone.
Now I feel I should be doing it.
Yeah.
I've got a video. That will play it in the background. Yay. Why does Google have the worst internet?
Barshens is brought to you by our awesome patrons. Thanks for supporting the channel.
Barshens! Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Stuart.
Thank you for standing in for Barry.
I'm not Barry.
Not yet. But one day, if you work
As it goes
really
on, it's
hard...
like The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. It just bits of Barry start coming out of me.
Oh, that's made me feel slightly nauseous. Anyway, we've got a guest.
Yes, we have.
This is Sinead Birmingham.
Hi.
Hello.
Are
Thank
you
you
from
very much for
Birmingham?
joining us.
No, I'm not from Birmingham.
I think that's a Barry thing to say.
Okay, that was a very... We
Yeah.
get some dad jokes later and puns that don't quite make sense.
Perfect.
Marvellous. So, very much on brand for Barshens, Sinead is kind of a Sharticle expert, you could say.
Now, Sinead, do you know what a Sharticle is?
Yeah, I've watched the podcast before, and it's like a funny local news story that's just basically not interesting or relevant to news outside of that area.
You are absolutely correct on all counts.
Yes.
But somehow it makes local news. And there tends to be quite a lot around kind of Norfolk way as well, I find.
Indeed, for you are also a Norwich person, I believe.
Yep. Yes, I am.
As all good-hearted people are.
Yes.
Just stare at the audience for a second. That's upset them. And now I'll continue. So, could you introduce yourself using a couple of brief paragraphs?
Definitely. So I'm a graphic designer. I lived in London for about 6 years, moved back home last January, and now I work at a creative agency called Born in Norwich as a graphic designer. And then I set up the exhibition that is called Lolcal News. So that's how sort of me, basically.
So Lolcal News.
Brief segue. How does Lolcal News relate to Sharticles?
So I started collecting local headlines. I originally sort of saw the first one, I think, when I was at university, and it was like a way of kind of checking in on what's going on at home. And I think the first one I saw was how can you guess the roundabout, a photo quiz? And I just like really made me laugh for a lot of reasons. Well, yeah, I knew thick fawn.
That's a classic roundabout.
Classic roundabout.
Classic roundabouty.
But yeah, it was basically like the idea of somebody going out, photographing them, and then just making this article from it. And then I sort of forgot about these articles for probably about 10 years. And then when I moved home and needed a bit of a laugh, I started looking at it. And then at work, we'd kind of read them out in the Norfolk accent. And then it kind of snowballed. And I started screenshotting them and basically had this collection that I needed to do something with.
We at my old work, we did I used to work at Mustard TV in Norwich.
Oh, yeah.
And we did a segment called Points of View, which we get the rubbish bits of news and like record what we think the people commenting would sound like. And it was like things like, man drops ice cream on the floor, and it would just be things like, well, he shouldn't have been so bleeding stupid, should he? And like just everything like that. Is
The comments. Oh, such hatred.
Oh.
So, to break the ice, we will begin with a Sharticle.
Nice.
From the Swindon Advertiser. Hold on to your hats, folks. Swindon mum finds sausage meat face in 91p packet of Aldi burgers.
I need it again.
I'm quite intrigued by this one. The picture is bizarre. There's like a young family holding up what can only be described as a weird face made of squashed sausages. It's really odd.
The worst thing is the expression of the face is the same as the daughter holding it.
Oh my God, it predicts the future. A future predicting sausage face. Fran Webster found the Beaming Burger Bonce.
Beaming Burger Bonce is my stage name.
In a packet of 91p sausages bought from Aldi on Shore Road last week. repeating the same text, SEO. Aldi has apologised, saying it was working with its sausage supplier to try and piece together what had happened and find the rest of the body.
There's been a sausage man murdered. It's like 7. He's been cut up and put around the globe. You're going to find different things.
Sausage hand. Fran, 28, from West Swindon, which for some reason is highlighted in bold, told the advertiser about the bizarre banger find. Someone clearly got bored on their shift. I'm more concerned about quality control. I'd like to give the person who did it a high five. Hang on. Whose side are they on?
Yeah.
They're concerned about quality
in
control.
Britain's Got Talent where they're like, I didn't think it was good. It was great. It's like, I'm concerned about quality control. I want to give you a high five.
I don't like the person who did this. I love them. Dear me.
Just the raw variety guy with a sausage face. 250 grand! Fuck!
Fran said she had the pack of what she thought were 20 sausages out the freezer on Monday, preparing to make a casserole for her family. In a packet of 20, we only got 12 sausages, and then this massive face came out. It's moving against her or something, just crawling towards her.
Kill it, Mum, kill it!
Fran could feel an unusual lump in the blue and white pack. I thought, what the hell is that? When I turned it over, I saw it was a face. Luckily, my mate was there as well. Want to take care of it? Is that dangerous? It took 2 of us to subdue it.
My mate Van Helsing, the burger hunter.
I thought she was going to say, luckily it was smiling. Like, it would be far more menacing if they were just...
Luckily, it didn't have an eye.
This is you next. So they abruptly end the story here, and we get, it's not the first time people in Swindon have found slightly odd things in their food. Did anybody think it was? Slightly odd?
I like the idea that Swindon prides itself on having perfect food. It's like, right, standard to slip, lads. We've allowed that one, but...
Put a face into some sausages, that'll make everything better. In November, a schoolgirl told of a horror after she almost swallowed a thumb-sized piece of what she feared was flesh left in her strawberry smoothie.
Was it a thumb-sized piece of strawberry by any chance?
Strangely enough, yes. And in April, a man was shocked to find a metal staple in his Aldi chicken.
A man was shot.
Yeah, it says,
That's not relevant.
No, it says back to the sausage meat face. What? This is really weirdly structured article.
Journey.
Sorry, I'm very distracted at my journalism today. Good grief. Around an inch thick and roughly the same size as a CD, Fran initially puts it in a CD player.
Try the Blu-ray player. Better quality, come on.
Is this 4K UHD? I don't know. Just good God. Fran initially thought the sausage meat face was a lump of pastry, to which someone had added eyes and lips. I didn't have a clue what it was, she said, but the pastry-like object smelled like meat, and noticing there were 8 of the pale cream sausages missing from the pack, put 2 and 2 together and made 8.
Why is her first instinct to sniff it?
Yeah.
What's this?
She should have put it in the CD player and heard the sound of screaming pigs. Fran added, I wrapped it back up in tinfoil and put it back in the freezer.
What?
Good for you, Fran. She had to stop her young children, aged 8 and 5, from scoffing the meathead.
Scoffing the meathead. That's my first album is Bertie Back Burger Banger.
Scoffing the meathead. It sounds like a move in professional skateboarding. And Tony, all beautiful scoff of the meathead there. The kids wanted to eat it, but I was a bit concerned about the fact that workers have been able to do that. Well, eat things. That's worrying. The 12 sausages went straight in the bin. Luckily, she had a spare pack for the casserole pot.
Oh, thank goodness.
And
another face in it.
And Fran said the face discovery had not diminished her love for Aldi. The supermarket said it was investigating how the item came to be sold. A spokeswoman said, "We apologise to Ms. Webster and have offered her a refund on this product. It was 91 pence. We're currently speaking to our supplier to make sure this happens more in the future." No, the opposite. Yeah. Oh, dearie me. That's
What was the face? made of? I missed that bit.
The face is made entirely of sausage meat. Basically, they've got several sausages and squashed them into a big disc,
Yep.
and then used other sausages for the eyes and mouth.
So having a little fun at the factory, basically.
So, yeah, exactly. That's and if you should have found odd items in your food and live in the Swindon area, there's an email address.
Oh. Should we draft an email to them now going,
Yes.
Dear Points of View, I found the rest of the body in this bag of sausages. Let's, help, please.
I found a severed ear in my pack of potatoes. Lovely. Now we've got to ask, have any of us ever found a weird thing in a food product? I don't think I have.
No.
Found some maggots in some fish I got from Tesco once.
Maggots?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, those little worm things, not actually maggots. Apparently they're harmless, but Tesco were not pleased with it.
Someone I knew they were dead after this. They found a worm in a birthday cake, and they found it by cutting straight through the cake, and then two little things started twitching.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty
I know.
rough.
That's pretty grim.
My friend found a chicken claw in her Nando's and they gave her so much free chicken after that.
They gave her so much shit for that. Just you get the claw chicken, Brenda. Jesus Christ, Brenda.
We've been working hard all day. How dare you? No chicken for you.
She still goes back. Like, it didn't put her off.
So how would you do that article as a Lolcal? As a local drawing?
I think maybe. Well, I gave all of the articles out to illustrators, so that was probably like what I'd try and find an illustrator that would do it justice. But if it was me, I'd probably do some kind of like recipe, like joke recipe, like all typographic like piece that was using the sausage. What was it? The meathead?
Yes.
Meathead.
Scoffing the meathead. Yeah. That's something that I might do, a recipe sort of based piece.
So you have some examples here.
Yeah, I do.
I really want to open these up and
these
look
are
at
for
them.
you.
Thank you very
so
much.
much. Thank you so
I'm
much.
totally nicking this. So, for the benefit of the audio people, we have a set of postcards here of art inspired by,
Yes.
Sharticles, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that sound, Alec?
Yeah.
Just put this away now, yeah? Yeah, oh, not quite there yet. Are we? Oh, these are so cool.
I'm
Yeah,
quite looking
so-
forward to reading them.
These were postcards that was for sale at the exhibition, and it all went to the charity, Open Norwich.
I do, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah.
that's where the exhibition was, and then all the profits from the exhibition, so all the sales from the art and the tickets and these packs went to them to help the like underprivileged children in Norfolk with higher arts initiatives. So they do like art classes to build up their confidence and stuff like that. So this was part of that sort of package that we were offering for
That's
people.
really wonderful.
Yeah, excellent stuff. I'm going to look at the first one. Mike Birmingham. Any relation?
Dad. Yeah, my dad.
Mike Birmingham. Hang on, have you done anything?
2 arrested on suspicion of cooking oil thefts. We reached that level of desperation where people are stealing cooking oil.
So my dad actually converted his car so it ran on cooking oil.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I gave him that one. So he goes around and he legally collects oil in Norfolk, like from the pubs and restaurants and things like that, and then converts it so his car will run on it.
Has he ever been arrested on suspicion of theft?
Not that I know of. Maybe. Well, no.
It's just written, I am not guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the benefit of the people on the piece of art is basically 2 yellow lines which have been, it's really hard to describe things like this, isn't it? Which have been formed into a face, and where the eye would be, there is a drop, which could be the oil, but is also a tear
Yes.
to represent the theft. This is actually very good.
Yeah, he did
and
really
it's
well. I was really
really
pleased with
hard
it.
to describe. But I'm going to try another
Yeah,
one.
there'll be easier ones.
Stephen Whisker drew.
Just quickly, so what is the significance of the names on these
Oh, so
cards?
they're the
Which I'm just throwing
people-
across the
They're
board.
the illustrator.
Yeah, they're the
Yeah.
illustrator or the artist that did the piece on the reverse side.
Wow. Sunburnt pig called Delilah wandered loose on Norwich's Prince of Wales Road.
She did.
Sunburnt pig
Yeah.
on a road called Delilah.
Yeah.
That's the news. Oh, very intricate one, this.
That was actually a few stories. There was a sunburnt pig, and then the guy who owned the pig got arrested for it being untethered.
Oh my
I remember
goodness.
reading this.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's quite a few stories from this event.
That's
Blimey.
ridiculous.
It's quite big news.
And somebody
really
has
was.
indeed drawn Prince of Wales Road there with the good old Rocco's.
Yeah.
Rocco's, now
And
closed.
they're having like a parade for the pig, which is sunbathing.
Yeah. There's loads of like little sort of visual jokes in there as well.
Follow Delilah on Instaham.
Yes.
Hey, Barry would appreciate
Steve
that.
loves this kind of thing.
He's here in spirit.
It's a very intricate black and white drawing. And the news is provided by Sky TV.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, one for you. Liam Clark, would you buy Poundland's new skincare range?
I already did.
And it says, wow, Halloween makeup crossed out skincare only £1.
Record-holding angler says he was banned from Norfolk Fishery because he's too good. That's such an excuse.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it is.
Dad, why won't they let you back? Oh, they said I was too good.
Too good.
I was too good for them, yeah. I was ruining it for everyone else, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Classic Sharticle. Dibbs McCallum has gone with, it wasn't me. Les Dennis denies being responsible for Norwich Graffiti.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we did that one.
That's the one. Yeah, we
covered
did.
that,
Yeah.
This fish thing is great, by the way. It's a drawing of some fish, and there's coloured patches on them, but the coloured patches form a face.
Yeah, so that was Owen, who's done like quite a few murals in Norwich, and Mum and Dad bought that one, so that's in their kitchen. But yeah, it's a really, really nice piece.
Yeah.
The
that's...
Les Dennis one is just a really murky kind of shed, a photo of it with loads of creepy graffiti of faces on the side, which I presume are meant to be Les Dennis.
Ooh.
And pretty fucking creepy, as you can imagine.
Oh, this one mentions Lowestoft, so it's got to be good. Fiona Gowan. Retirement apartments risk turning Lowestoft into Spanish holiday resorts. You fucking wish. Councillors warned. My God. Oh, yeah. The Costa del Lo. They've drawn like a, attempting to reimagine Lowestoft as a Spanish resort. So how does one get to the position where you can produce a art show based entirely on weird journalism? What is the path to this?
A lot of time on my hands. So I moved back from London, and I was at Mum and Dad's for a year, and I was in Haysborough. So there's like, I don't know if you've been, but there's not really much.
Yeah.
Like, it's lovely, but as like a 29-year-old, I was just like, I don't really know what to do. And I was talking to people at work about the news quite a lot, and I started screenshotting them, and I basically had this massive file on my computer just called EDP Gold, and like we'd go through it, and one of them I think was over my shoulder at my computer, and he's like, why have you got a file called EDP Gold? So I started showing him, and he was like laughing, and then I was thinking, I'd like to do a book with these, like somehow illustrate them or do like typographic pieces using the headlines. And then someone else at work, another designer, said, oh, you could do an exhibition with them. So then I started thinking that would actually be a really, really good way to use them, and to sort of, because I didn't have like a massive creative community in Norwich just being away for so long. I wanted to kind of meet more creatives and sort of do something that was good, like, and fun, and sort of celebrate Norwich, because it wasn't really part of the plan for me to move back there, but now I love it. Like, so it was kind of, sort of doing that really.
So what kind of is the criteria for putting like what we call a sharticle in these kind of things? Because I'd imagine there are some which might sound funny but don't translate that well. So what sort of thing do you look for in something like that?
So I just was sort of screenshotting anything that sounded a bit weird or made me laugh, and then I was reading the article, and basically there was a few that were really funny, but they had not victims as in no one died, but they had like
but someone's expense, really.
Someone
It
expense.
feels a bit bullying.
Yeah. So it was basically trying to get it to not be just taking the piss out of Norfolk or anything like that. It's supposed to be like a joke alongside like the people. So it had to be something where there wasn't really anybody sort of being hurt or, being taken advantage of or anything like that.
Yeah.
And that was basically the sort of formula for them. And then when I had the file, I got sort of the designers at work to go through it and make sure that like there wasn't any that one, to make sure that they were funny, because you can kind of go a bit like, oh yeah, that's funny, and then read it and it's not. Or so I was trying to get them to sort of quality control check the humour side and the sort of making sure that they were all nice ones.
Because we had that for a while as well, didn't we? Where we'd have loads of people contribute these articles, and the title would be really funny, the first couple of paragraphs, and you get further down, and it's people who have like had been injured or had loved ones had things stolen from them, and we're like, this isn't funny. This is really quite tragic, and we have to be careful what we are laughing at, because it's just with the platform we have as well. It'd be the same with you with this big show. If you then set a precedent for laughing at that sort of thing, then there's like really no end to that. You know, you really
that's
like
a dark path to go.
Yeah, exactly. And then especially when you're giving the idea that that's kind of the right thing to laugh at.
Yeah. I just didn't want it to be nasty, sort of in any way, sort of anybody. So yeah, that was pretty easy. There's loads of stories that have happened in Norfolk, and I also didn't really want sort of the local papers to think I was being nasty about their quality of writing either. It's just more of a celebration that we're lucky enough to have these stories in our county. There's loads of serious ones as well, but we still have these, which is great.
I still can't believe there was effectively a Sharticle exhibition in Norwich and I missed it.
Yeah.
How did nobody tell me about this?
I can't believe you missed it.
I'm going to move to Swindon now. And just keep a blog of all the food I buy and what's in it. Yeah. Oh, dear me.
How long does it take to put these, the exhibition, first of all, how long does it take to put that together? But then, because each person's drawing their own interpretation.
About a year, I reckon, probably. I gave the artists a really long time to do their pieces because I didn't want to, I basically worked backwards from the deadline and said, can you get it to me by the end of February? So then the printers had time to print everything out for us.
And do you research the artist beforehand and think, oh, this person would be good for that type of article? Or is it just kind of a bit of a, let's see what people can come up with?
Yeah.
And did you give them one each, or did you give them a couple and pick the best ones from that?
So I tried to match headlines with people that I thought would be really, really good for them. So there was one about oven chips being 5 millimeters shorter, which is like an information.
I'm scandalised.
Yeah. It was horrendous. It's all to do with climate change. But Josh is an information designer, so I thought, oh, that would be really good for him to sort of create this infographic from. And then other people sent me ones in and they were like, I really want to do this one, and if it met the criteria, then I'd be like, yeah, fine. And then I tried where possible to not really give, there was only a couple of people that asked to see more than one headline. And because I wanted them all to be really, really super secretive. So whilst I was gearing up for the exhibition, I was doing Instagram posts from archived news, really old Norfolk news. And all the headlines in this exhibition were from last year. So it was basically trying to keep them under wraps until the exhibition. So yeah, I tried to not let everybody see all of them.
So if you had to pick your 3 favourite of these, not necessarily these ones, but your 3 favourite bad headlines and or stories, what would they be?
So the very favourite one is strippers needed in Watton. It's so short.
Paint strippers?
Nope, actual strippers. Actual strippers for some theatre show or something like that. I can't really remember the article, but it was just the fact that they're needed. They're down to their last 2. One's
yeah, isn't the case we want them? If we don't get those strippers in,
that's
society will collapse.
Yeah.
It's like Nanny McPhee, when you need me. You want me to strip? No.
But yeah, that was one of the ones that I sort of used for the private invite, cards for the exhibition. Derham store to open as usual, just a great non-news thing.
So was this?
Yeah, what was the
road
context?
being
Why
pulled
did
up or
it shut?
something? So
no idea. I think it was just basically something to do with it was either roadworks or something like that. But it was a proper actual article.
Goodness.
So yeah, that was just open as usual.
Thanks for clarifying
No
that,
need to
guys.
worry.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of another one. This is a good one. How can Stoke be voted a nicer city than Norwich? Just absolute disgust.
Just the mayor. Seriously?
Why?
Well, it turns out people like Stoke more.
Yeah, it was just,
That's a good question. How can it be voted?
How though?
Yeah. How? Yeah.
Devastating.
Who is voting? Who are these people?
But yeah, there's sort of ones where they're really proud of Norwich and Norfolk. I really like. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the most Norfolk. I think as a county is so I don't know if patriotic is the word for it, but Norfolk people love Norfolk. They will not leave it. It's a nice little bubble, really, isn't it?
That's lovely.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Haysborough earlier,
yeah,
which is one of my favourite Norfolk place names that are spelt nothing like the way they're pronounced. So for the guys at home, Haysborough is spelt Happisburgh.
Happisburgh. SBURGH.
That is
Yep.
correct.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were mentioning earlier other
Yeah.
joyous Norfolk locations that sound nothing like it. Poswick is a good one.
Yeah, Postwick.
Yep, literally Postwick. Poswick. They're just kind of too lazy to say that one.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And then Wyndham,
Wyndham's a classic.
Wymondham.
Yes, Wymondham. Just totally abbreviated to Wyndham.
Costessi.
Oh,
Cossey.
Cossey.
The next half an hour is just going through every
Yes.
single thing. Oh, that one's spelled like it sounds, yeah.
It's ruined everything.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
I think Cossey may be my favourite because it is spelled Costessi and somebody's just gone, I ain't got time to say that.
Cossey.
That's
Norfolk's
it.
quite a lazy accent like that.
It is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I've noticed since I moved back home, I used to say like don't, but now it's just done. Don't get me started. Don't.
Hum.
Don't even bother.
Go
Yeah.
hum.
Yeah.
Don't go home.
Don't go home.
Don't go home.
I
Not
love
no.
hum.
Have you thought about doing another exhibition with this kind of thing?
With using the headlines. So I've kept on collecting them for this year, but I'm just not sure yet whether I'd do it again. Like, I'm a bit nervous because it did take so much time because I was like working full time and doing this outside of work. But it was really good. But I think I might either scale it back because this just like blew up. Originally, I only wanted 14 artists, designers, and it was, I think, 30 in the end. Yeah, so it just kind of escalated. So yeah, I'm not really sure, but I would still like to sort of carry on doing the Instagram and then just see, you know, the headlines from this year are really good. I've already got more than I can use.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it.
What was the feedback like for this one?
Really, really good. Yeah. I couldn't believe how positive everybody was about it. And to be fair, like throughout the whole preparing for it, everyone was like, I'd go to these meetings and meet like potential sponsors and they'd be like, yeah, okay. Like everyone was just like, yeah, all right. Like it was and I was waiting for like someone to be like, no, you can't do this, or Archant, like the media thing in Norfolk, to be like, no, someone be, you know, negative about it, but no one was like.
I mean, have you seen the articles they put out? They need something to talk about.
Yeah,
Like, just do it. Yeah, why not?
It was just
Get
like
a 3-page spread on this.
it was amazing. And then I think, you know, like Anglia News came down and like they were loving it, and then BBC, they were interested. So it was just like, it was insane. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be as well received, and I didn't expect to sell as many pieces of the art either, because they were like about £100, £150, and they were like pretty much, I think 70% of them sold, which was amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, for like
That's
an
incredible.
exhibition. Yeah,
Absolutely brilliant.
Have you thought about like selling them away from the gallery as well, or the exhibition, like online or something?
Yeah. So we've still got quite a few postcard packs left, so we could still sell those. I'm thinking maybe as well, speaking to one of the artists today actually about maybe doing a book with all the sort of things in it. But I would still want the proceeds to kind of go to the Open charity, because that's how it's sort of like a lot of the artists sort of got involved because of that sort of connection. So yeah.
I think the next one you do, because as people on the internet, the comment section is fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
But my God, there is so much gold in there for like off the back of these articles as well. Like that might be something to look down. I don't know. But.
There's a sort of thing that we're kind of looking at the moment with TripAdvisor reviews for certain Norfolk attractions. So yeah, it might be,
Would you ever consider going on tour or franchising it out? There's like a Swindon version.
Yeah, everyone's kind of said this to me. Like, my dad's from Bristol, and I know that like Bristol's definitely got.
Is your
like,
dad Barry?
Yeah, he's
the
gone.
guys.
No, he's from Bristol, so I know there's potential to do sort of local news that's like that, and other people have started sending me ones that are sort of from their areas and things, but I don't want to. Like, I want to keep it Norfolk and keep it like local, and I think it would probably lose a bit of whatever it is if I tried to franchise it, or like a lot of people are asking me how I'd like monetize it, and I just don't want to. It's just, it is like kind of what it is. It's just a bit of a laugh kind of thing.
Keep the purity of the Sharticle.
Yeah.
So as you said, it was a lot of work. Was it still been like a like obviously it sounds quite positive.
Yeah, really positive. Like, it was a lot of work, like, and I was moving house, and like there's just a lot of stuff going on, but it was really worth doing. And like the opening night, like the private view, it was just, everyone was so supportive, and there's just a lot of interest in it. So I was just really happy to kind of be back in Norwich, and like have, you know, this like creative community that all wanted to be involved.
I think it goes, it's quite underrated as well, because there is quite a nice art scene in Norwich, which perhaps, again, is because it's so hard to get to, is just a Norwich exclusive thing. But like every week, they're like, we have the summer basically turns into like a whole art festival, doesn't it, for a period of weeks. So this kind of thing, like, I can totally see why it did so well.
Yeah.
I saw a really weird thing in the arts festival the other day where I was sat in Chapel Gardens, and all of a sudden there's a bloke in kind of this, looks like almost like a dental surgeon's kind of outfit. Like he's just buttoned up here and it's all blue, and it was like a Black Mirror thing. He was just walking about with this orb, and I was just like, yeah, all right, mate, fair enough. And then a family came like this, holding their orb, and then another family came, and like before you knew it, about 20 people were holding these orbs, and I was like, mate, what's going on? And they all went, hey.
You sure this was art, or was it time travelers?
No, it's really strange. But what it was they put these orbs around Norwich and gave people clues to get them, and they had to follow a noise, and the noise led them back to Chapel Garden. They didn't start there. It wasn't just like, way, you got you, suckers. But they all came back, and wherever they stood in relation to this, like it made these weird noises, and then they got out a stand and put specific orbs in specific slots, and it played like a theme song for something. So like people walking...
Theme tune to Minder.
Yeah, exactly.
Really weird.
It's really
like you don't know
weird.
what's going on.
There's loads of weird experimental shit going on. But like, yeah, it was just really ominous. He was just walking about with an orb, and you get some weirdos in Chapel Gardens anyway. But it was just like, all right, mate.
Yep. Orbs it.
And I was like,
delivery.
and I said to him, what is this about? And I was holding my phone at the time. He went, it's sort of like the thing in your hand. I was like,
oh, no.
No, it's not, mate.
No.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
No, don't stick your pretension in here. I was enjoying your orb carrying.
No, it's not, mate. You don't get data on that thing.
It's got Face
weird.
ID. This.
Talk to us a bit about like your how you got into design and stuff personally. Like, is that always something you've kind of been passionate about?
Yeah. So my dad's a graphic design teacher, so I think it was always kind of an interest of mine, like to do like creative things. And my uncle's a graphic designer and graffiti artist as well. So I just think that it was
Is he
like
Banksy?
you don't like he does. He like was in the same group of people because he's in Bristol.
Yeah.
That was like sort of when Banksy was initially starting out. So he does like know him, but he's not.
Does he?
He's, for ages I thought he was. I really thought he was.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's not. He's definitely not.
What clues did he give you that he wasn't Banksy, other than saying, I'm not Banksy?
Yeah, I think he was like, I'd tell you if I was. And I was like, well,
Would you though?
Would you?
Yeah.
And then there was like a couple more things, when Banksy did his film, and I was like, well, the timeline doesn't marry like when I've seen him.
But
so
you really want him to be Banksy, don't you?
Yeah,
so cool.
100%. It'd be really good. But yeah, I just always really liked design, and I kind of knew that that's what I wanted to do, which is really lucky from a young age, because then I could just follow, like, pick my GCSEs, design, pick A-levels design, go to a design uni. Done.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, it's nice when you know what you want to do, and, and it's something you can actually pursue. You know?
Yeah.
I wish you were Banksy.
Maybe I am. I'm not. The Norwich Banksy.
Throwing cocks on wall. Let's Dennis.
Get arrested after the first one. Yeah. Deary me. So we have 3 questions we ask of all our guests. The first question is this.
Is your uncle Banksy?
Yes.
Is your aunt Banksy?
What is Banksy's real name? And is it Tim?
Are you Banksy?
Tim Banksy. Yes, the first question is, have you ever been in a local newspaper? I'm guessing yes with this
It's like
thing.
redundant. But
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than this, have you been in a local newspaper?
Yeah, I was in when I was really young for the Harvest Festival at school.
Oh my
And it
goodness,
was
I've
me
thought
and
that
2
was-
twins and another boy. And it was just this like horrendous photo of us dressed up like farmers. Yeah, and then the other one was for this, which was actually like the personal, private sort of secret goal, was to become a headline with the exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
But the headline I was a bit disappointed by. Like I thought,
was it?
I think it was local designer creates laughs with headlines or something like that. It was just a bit like
That's a bit,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to do something really stupid. Go to Aldi, get some sausages, go
That's
through
the
all the
thing.
packets till we see your face.
That's what people were saying during the exhibition. They were like, you're going to have to start like generating like weird news. I was like, I don't think that'd be
my God.
so bad. Like,
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
pig with a hat on runs down so-and-so street.
It's just me, like...
Yes.
You in a pig outfit with a hat.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Sunbathe and go.
Question number 2. Who is the most famous person you've met?
I met Brooklyn Beckham like very briefly at like this bar thing. It was Neverland. Did you hear of that in East? I think it was like Hammersmith way. It was just some pop-up thing, and he was there.
No.
But
He does he does photography and stuff, doesn't he? That's his kind of thing. Was it like an art sort of?
No, it was like this just really weird pop-up with like sand on the floor, and it was like a beach, but it was the Thames.
Wherever there's sand, there's Brooklyn Beckham.
I was a bit too old for it maybe, but it was just like, he was playing beer pong when he was there. But
I thought he was still like 6, so I'm just showing my age now.
No, he's like 20
Oh.
something.
Yeah, he's in his 20s now. He does stuff for, I think he freelances for big magazines now.
Blimey.
Nothing to do with his last name though.
No.
I
I heard from someone like working at Mustard TV. I got to know some people through Norwich City, and apparently, like people like the Beckhams, they send their kids to trial with all these clubs, and all of his kids are basically quite shit.
Really?
So they can't get in. Yeah.
Oh, that's really
It's a bit sad. Like they seem nice enough. Anyone else? At all?
Izzy Sutty from Peep Show.
Oh, Izzy.
we know Izzy
I've
City.
worked with Izzy.
Yeah.
She's good with
It's
Izzy.
really funny because she was walking past the pub and we thought we knew her and she thought she knew us. So we were waving and she came over and we were like, we don't know. Like, no, we're actually, you're famous. You don't know us either. Yeah, she was lovely.
Izzy's no. Izzy
Like
is
Peep
No,
Show.
she plays Dobby in Peep Show, but not Dobby in Harry Potter. Really.
so much makeup.
Yeah. Same height though. Weird.
Yeah, she's quite beloved of the audience in general. I walked her back to the hotel for safety after we'd filmed something, and like literally somebody's on the stair. Dobby, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So just
She's
you.
really nice.
that was Izzy herself. She caught herself her own reflection.
It's peak narcissism.
Oh no, she's tip top. What was your famous person story?
I've got 2. So,
Greedy.
first one was I was in America in October and I saw Justin Bieber going through a drive-through.
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber, many of them.
The high
saw
mind.
Justin
Bieber.
One of the
I saw,
Bieber drones.
2010 Justin Bieber going through. Yeah, I saw him going through a drive-through, but the one closest to meeting was David Hasselhoff in Paris on a school trip.
My goodness, yeah.
I know. He was in a cafe in Montmartre, which is like the artist's corner of Paris, and he was being very, I think he was with his agent, I think, out for lunch, but he was being very loud, like, I'm David Hasselhoff, that kind of thing.
Please recognise.
Yeah, pretty much. We all went and got a school photo with him, and we were on the front page of his website. Yeah,
You were on the front page of his website.
Yeah.
I heard that the other way around.
He was on the front page of mine.
Yeah, or your school's website.
Yeah, you know, he put us all on there, and it was a video of us, and my one bit of dialogue in it. It wasn't scripted or anything, but he went, where are you guys from? And someone went, Norwich. And I just turned and go, it's in England, really aggressively. And he just sort of looks at me like, all right, child. And he just sort of
I've
like,
totally forgotten this.
Yeah.
I remember the footage. Yeah.
I know. He was like, you guys are going to be on Hasselhoff.com. We were like, thanks, David. Nice one. And we all were on the front page of his website for about an hour. It was great.
Yeah, because he then randomly bumped into Cyndi Lauper.
What?
Not you,
and
sorry,
you
but
got bumped.
Hasselhoff. And then, you were bumped. He's like, I'm with Cyndi now.
Aw.
Yeah. But
Was that his website? Just people he'd met? Like that day? That's really weird.
He's uploading them
Yeah.
14 times a
Super
day.
confusing.
Concierge.
Like before Instagram.
Uber driver.
just his reflection, David, I love you. But he because one of us went over. Once we found out it was him, like the whole of our trip went. So about 40 kids were around him. He was really nice about
All
it.
too young to know who he was.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think the teachers
of
went,
you
was that
remembered
David
Knight Rider.
Hasselhoff? But no, because he was in the SpongeBob movie.
Oh.
SpongeBob SquarePants movie. We were like, that's him. But being an intellect, I knew who he was already. So
And our final question for you. What is your most embarrassing story?
It's just one embarrassing thing after the other. Like, I was trying to think. Yeah, I was trying to think on the way down. Like, everything's happened to me. Like falling over or like walking around with my skirt in my knickers or like
same.
bad
Yeah,
one.
done that. Yeah.
But I think one of the ones that was like the most horrendous, because I was actually really hurt as well, was like when I was working as an intern at a design agency and I cut my finger, like basically sliced the top of it off, making a mock-up. But I was really embarrassed because I didn't want anyone to really know that I'd done it, but there was just blood everywhere. And so I went over to the kitchen and I was trying to like really subtly like just wash it. But it was just...
Are you right, Sinead? Yeah, I'm fine.
That's what I was doing. Like, they were going, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, I've cut my finger a bit. And I think...
Really pale.
Yeah, really pale. And this, like the girl that I was sort of closest to was like, oh, let's photo show. And she was like, oh my God, like, you need to sit down. I was like, sat down with my finger in the air. And I had like this massive bandage on it for ages. But I think it was just really embarrassing because I was like, I'm nearly going to cry because it hurts so much. But I'm also really embarrassed and everyone's looking at me. So that was probably the most embarrassing.
Oh, that's horrible. And a horrible injury as well.
Yeah.
Oh, did your finger... did you recover fine?
Grow back.
Yes, it's just really long.
It's a fake one.
It's great for tapping people from a distance.
Good.
It's all fine now, but yeah.
Good.
Excellent. My goodness. I got my finger crushed once. The nerves have never been right since. There's a rubbish story for you.
At Sedge Drama School, I was going to it about 10 or 11, and I always get fucking weird injuries, and I gave myself a paper cut on an Argos catalogue about midway down my palm. It wouldn't stop bleeding. And it was the one session they went, okay, everyone, hands and knees, clap, bam, clap, bam, clap, bang. And then the woman was like, are you all right? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. It's like bloody palm print on the floor. I was like, yeah, carry on without me, it's fine.
It's the image of like Iron Man but spraying blood.
But yeah, that was painful. So I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Not as much, but yeah.
Oh my goodness. You just reminded me of the most relevant thing, but it's come back very strongly as a memory. I had to fill in like a form that was sent to me once from after I'd left a job, saying, how did you find the job? Blah, 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 like,
Oh, yeah.
thing, because they didn't actually have anybody HR to ask you at the job. So they sent me this form and I was filling it in. And I like nicked my finger on a bit of paper or something, and you go, oh, and you kind of ignore it. Always dangerous with paper cuts. And you think, oh, it stings a bit. And I was filling this thing in and then realised when I got to the bottom that I'd managed to basically daub my own blood all over the form. I really large extent. Like,
What was the form for?
it was for having left PC World. And they're like, oh, what did you leave? And this kind of stuff. I've now filled this form in.
Bleeding out in blood.
Yeah, just
Not coming back.
plastered it with my own blood. Oh, well, so I sent it in anyway. Yep.
Jesus.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the postcards as well.
Yeah, no, they
fantastic.
was.
Look forward to looking through those.
Do you have any like social media links you want to plug?
Yeah, where can people buy the remaining pack?
Well, they can just message me on Instagram and it's at Lolcal_news. So yeah, that's probably the best way. Or go on localnews.com and there's a form there and that will come through to the email and I can send postcards out.
Tremendous. That's Lolcal News, LOLCAL News.
Yes.
Just for the audio class. Yeah.
Amazing.
Lovely job.
Lovely. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Excellent. Cheers, folks.
Nice.